Hi, welcome back to class. And right now we are on the final chapter of the book. And so I want to congratulate you for getting through this textbook. I know it's very tedious at points, but let me assure you that out of all the textbooks I've found for public administration, this has been the best one. Actually, this was referred to me by one of my advisors from grad school. He uses it at Kent State, and he pointed out that most of the other textbooks are so steeped in history that they're almost they're really boring for students to read. And so this actually works a really good mix of working with both what's going on now and what is has been historic in public administration. So it's not just relying on history, which again gets bogged down a lot in the study of public administration. So this book is the most relevant one that we're able to find, and it fits in well for the semester. But I do know it's very difficult, and I do praise you for getting through it. So this is the very last chapter, and I hope that you found that it gave you a very wide angle of approaching public administration. That's the whole goal of this. So we're on the last chapter right now, and this is very a very short chapter. I will give you 2 weeks to take the quiz, and we are really winding down. But I do have something else in store that we're going to work on, and this week is how that's going to play out. And so, as you can see here, you're going to start off by reading the classmates' post on PA in the news, and again respond to 6 different responses over the course of 3 different days. I also want you to make sure you read chapter 13 of the text and complete that quiz, and then we have the paper we're working on, of course, and then there's 2 initial posts for discussion 13. And so as we work down here, there's going to be no additional stuff to really write about because I have a little different project we're working on here. So as we go down chapter 14, I will adjust the dates of the quiz to make them for 2 weeks. And my computer, of course, is going slow. This always happens when I have screencast up. But I'll have the video up here. Here's the assignments, key points from the chapter again. Let me assure you the questions that we do ask in these quizzes are horrible, but they're all related back to the chapter. So there might be oddly written questions. And again, that's designed on purpose to make sure people are in fact reading. We have the discussion forum. So we have these 2 questions you're going to post your initial post in. And those will pop up eventually. And so this will be looking at the future. So one of the big things in classes that I do, I like to talk about a term called foresight. That's looking ahead. And so I want you to try to put in your future vision lenses and try to see what you personally you could personally do to affect the future of public administration in some way. So think about what you can actually do to affect the future of this. The public administration is socially constructed, like everything else. And so you're going to explain what your role is in the future of this. For myself, I try to utilize public administration in my classes by trying to teach students that they can actually have the ability to affect change. No matter what that change is, that's your personal decision. But I personally hope that people who take my classes walk away realizing that they're not powerless to deal with a system, that they're able to hopefully change it, and hopefully for the better, of course. So this is what you personally can do to affect the future of public administration. And reflect, are you likely to do this? Why or why not? This changes over the course of your life. If you asked me 20 years ago how I felt about this, I probably would not have thought that I would be doing anything remotely close to what I'm doing now. I wouldn't think I would be working in education, especially in higher ed. And I really wouldn't think that I'd ever work in the nonprofit sector, of course. And I'm doing both of those now. Um, so this can change throughout your life, but think about how likely you are to try to affect change in public administration, and then think back to why or why not. The book also has an optimistic view of looking towards the future. So I want you to describe how convincing you are of this. And there's a lot going on right now with politics and our society and the way we're treating people. Well, how does that affect your view on the optimism of the authors? So, and again, explain why. I think these are really good, capstone discussions for a class in public administration. um, Again, my computer is nice and slow. Here we have the paper that you have to have turned in. I had a really good email asking me about how, what do I do with regards to references. This paper does not have to have references. The reason I have this section here, the works cited section, is in the past I've had students turn in short papers and do a works cited page and say that's part of the paper. A works cited section is never part of a paper. That's extra. And so you could have written this whole paper just with your thoughts. You could have used extra material. It was totally up to you. So if you don't have any works to cite, that is totally fine. Don't worry about that for this paper. And then, of course, we have the quiz, and these dates will be changed to make them actually reflect the current year and month. And in my syllabus, I do have where we're going to be going with a second sort of project. And so one thing that I'm using in my classes now is the ability to teach people. One thing that students do when they're demonstrating their knowledge of a subject is they're able to usually teach. And so if you see in my syllabus, I have this section, PA in the news, 50 points. This initially was going to be a 4-page paper or a screencast or a video. We're not going to have to really do it that way. What we're doing instead is we're going to have this discussion, and then I'm going to have you, this is still going to be worth 50 points, but to get the full 50 points, I'm going to have you, after this week where you go through your three, your 3 times logging on and doing your post, I'm going to have you read everyone else in the class's initial post and post a small response on it. And then at the end of finals week, you're just going to go through what people wrote about your paper and discuss if this actually taught. So I'll break this down more for you, but for now, you're just going to stick with it normally. And part of how I'm doing this is I'm making this from being a 4-page paper to being a discussion and a short reflection. And if you can see in my syllabus, I do have my subject to change by the instructor. Well, here's me changing it. I'm just trying to make this more efficient and have you actually have a chance to read each other's posts. I really believe that students take away individual things from a class. So if I have 16 people in this class, there should be 16 different outcomes that took place. So hopefully you all got something slightly different from the class and you have your unique perspective. And I think what you can do is use that lens to teach each other and do what we do as teachers. We're supposed to take material and present it and hopefully have that case teach somebody something. Well, in this case, you'll be doing the same thing. But I think it'll be more fun this way than having you do a boring 4-page paper. So again, you're going to just be responding to these posts as normal. And then the PA in the news post as normal, and then the next week I will have you log on and read the rest. Once you're done doing your 3 different days, you could go ahead and jump the gun on that, but I will post something probably on Wednesday or so, describing how to go forward with that. Hopefully I didn't make this confusing, but I'd like for you, like I said, to be able to read what each other have written and look at the news articles and see how public administration is implemented in the real world and how it's viewed by you as students instead of just by me as the teacher. If you have any questions, make sure you email me, and we can either I could either email you back, or we could set up a telephone conference, or I could meet you in person in Spearfish or in Rapid City. I'm there on Wednesday afternoon. But let me know, and have a great week. Thank you.